Yo! Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So
That
that
was
was
a
the
cool countdown.
first time seeing the countdown as well. So
I like it.
The team literally just messaged me the other day. Hey, we have a new countdown. We should use it. So there it is.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That was pretty cool.
Cool.
So it's been fun. This year I'll be pretty busy with like the movie stuff. So the team is kind of taking over and is running with 24/7. So I get to do just fun stuff like this with you guys, and then
He has a team, Jason.
I
we
know.
have a few new people too.
That's past my pay grade.
Right.
No, I'm really excited about Comics Pro because this year at the retail conference, I'll be introducing a couple new additions to the team that maybe we could have on the show that will be relevant to the stuff that we talk about here.
Cool.
Anyway, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How was it?
Good.
Talking about New Year or last
Yeah,
year?
New Year's Eve, like New Year's celebration, holiday. Was it restful? I mean, I'll be the first to say I gained almost 20 pounds.
Wow.
Literally, in the last 6 weeks, I literally gained almost 20 pounds. I went to the doctors last week, and I was like blown away because I was 178 6 weeks ago, and I'm now 197. So I have some work to do.
You've been cutting back on the runs, I say.
Yeah, I did come back on the runs. I went to Korea and then spent some time with family out there, my wife's side of the family. And then basically, the language of love in a lot of kind of traditional Asian family is food. Yeah, so it was eating nonstop like all day. And I thought I'd be okay, but I continued the trend when I got back to the US. And, I think I need to slow down. And last night was Friday Night Magic at my house, and I basically stuffed my face with Popeye's chicken, and I'm gonna call that a night. And starting today, I'm start fresh with you guys as my accountability partners.
Oh, accountability buddies.
Yeah, everyone. Happy New Year.
We'll have to share our Strava runs. You record your stuff on Strava, or what do you record yours on?
I'm on Nike app. Can you do the same thing on Nike app, or do you prefer Strava?
I used to use what's it called? Map My Ride or Map My Run, which is a Under Armour product, but and then I started using Strava for both. So
I didn't know you were a runner too.
I do a little bit of running. I enjoy bike riding more than running, but like if time is a deal, and I want to get like a certain level, running is obviously because I don't got to get the biker shorts and the clip-on shoes and all that kind of stuff ready. You can just go running.
So how was your holidays, SCG?
Busy. Not as exciting as yours. I saw where you went to this big deal where this big AI or whatever it was.
Oh, that was in Vegas, right?
That was in Vegas. It was that's crazy.
So much more lucky.
Highly recommend it. I mean, if you guys ever get a chance to see him live, I think it's one of those things that even if you're not into electronic music, you should definitely check it out because just the technology surrounding the performance, it really makes you feel like you're in the future, especially happening in the Sphere for sure.
I like the one part where it looked like the robot like broke the sphere and the glass shattered, and you could see like the skyline behind it and everything. It looked pretty real. That was cool.
Yeah. That was the countdown itself, and I think I was talking to a friend who was there the other night, and that was actually one of the highlights, but also low lights because the main DJ you would think would come on like a little bit before the countdown and basically lead up to that moment, but instead they started the set at that moment after a like 20-minute transition between sets. And so it was kind of like a low, everyone wasn't really paying attention. So you could kind of feel like not everyone was like, not everyone realized that was actually our countdown, which was, it should be the moment that kind of builds up to. But actually I've been super rusty at this because we haven't done this for almost a month, right? And so we should actually introduce the show and ourselves and this new year really quickly. Why don't we introduce our new co-host, Noel? Why don't you introduce yourself first, and then we'll do Jason and myself, and then go from there, and we'll move on with the show today.
Well, I guess for anybody who doesn't know me at this point, I'm the also known as Stingray for the reasons of I am a big Stingray collector. If you don't know who that is, we can't be friends, but that's okay. Find out.
It's okay. You can learn to be friends with well, because I didn't know who Stingray was either.
Nobody does. That was a joke. No, nobody knows who that is, but that's my character that I have chosen to collect, and it seems to be working out in terms of carving a niche for myself in the art collecting community. But oh yeah, so the Valiant stuff. I had never read Valiant before, and when I met Carl and Jason in Baltimore last year, their enthusiasm for Valiant, for the OG Valiant stuff, was infectious, and they conned me into reading it. And so I'm reading some of the OG Valiant stuff now, and they have asked for my perspective on it. And so as a new reader, 30 years later, so here we are, and it's been a fun adventure so far. And they've even got they got me in on
Oh,
I'm hooked.
Alas,
I think Jason got us caught up on all these Valiant merch. Yo, what's up, CJ? The like, yes, please hit the like. And for those of you watching this on the replay, definitely hit the like, comment below. We'll get into what the plan is for this year. We're going to brainstorm, but we want to hear from you guys on what you want us to talk about and cover as well, because we've been brainstorming here. Obviously what Noel's mentioned is this happened very casually. I think at Baltimore Comic Con, Jason and I leading into that was always DMing each other about what we're picking up and stuff. And then it just kind of just took off after Baltimore, where now we're calling each other with every buy that we're about to make, and never talking each other out, just trying to talk each other into buying more.
But that's the problem. I might be trying to get somebody to talk me.
But Jason, why don't you share more about your background, who you are, and then how we all came to this?
So Jason, Southern Comic Geek. Some people say SCG. I don't care what people call me, as long as they call me home for supper. And so when I started collecting original art, got me back into, and which I was a comic book collector prior to that, like many people, and had really started leaning into the Valiant stuff. And as I talked to more and more people, it was a niche that welcomed and invited me, both not only in the enthusiasm of the collectors, but also some of the affordability. I will say there are the side artists like Barry Windsor Smith, that the stuff can get just as expensive as any other collection. But just kind of reinvigorated that. So I'm a fan of the VH1. Let VH2 be stricken from memory, but VEI is great. And we'll see how the Alien stuff, the post-Dinesh stuff goes. But still reading Valiant today, still collecting Valiant today. So always like talking it up.
Yeah, I think Jason is a good representation of a true Valiant fan end to end. Newell is our newbie, and then I am a very VH1 nostalgia collector, and that's kind of how we met, right?
You love pop-up video.
Oh yeah. So all day long, so true nostalgia in more ways than one. And for me, what's interesting is I was not exposed to as much on the VH2 and the VEI and some of the ones that Jason educates us a lot about. So I think the journey here we've talked about was because beyond the art, I think why we love Valiant is the storytelling. Often I think the reason we even started this stream kind of casually, streaming on both Southern Comic Geeks channel as well as 24/7 Comics channel, is because we love the stories and we want to talk about the stories. And then what's been really cool, if you guys haven't done so yet, watch some of our previous episodes. We had some some other fans of the properties also join us in different facets. And so, before we kind of get into what we're going to do this year, I think it would be appropriate to talk about our 2024 highlights, because obviously we all kind of met in the comic art world, but it'd be pretty cool to kind of share, what the highlights were for us individually, and maybe even the landscape of comic art collecting, or even the Valiant universe. I think those two worlds kind of come together for us. So, any thoughts to start, guys?
Well, I mean, I know that I got my first piece of Valiant original art last year, so that was cool. That's very relevant.
Very.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely watched the last episode of the year last year, and that's where Newell actually premiered his first piece.
Yep. Got that page from Shadow Man, which that was from the same issue that you got one, right?
It was.
That's what I thought. So yeah.
Did I show mine last month?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You lamented the price you paid for it, but alas, you were okay with holding it.
Right.
Yeah. The price is long forgotten when the memory of the nostalgia hits. So, and
just think, we'll always be Shadow Man Bros now. So
yes, Shadow Man Bros. We're in.
Well, you know what's interesting on the comic book side of things, you know, a lot of people are, which I get that, like with the rise of Batman animated series and X-Men animated series, if you want to go back further, the Spider-Man and Hulk cartoons from the 80s, you know, is what kind of introduced or cemented really some of these people into these characters, where Valiant never had that. And I think it is, you know, people that are inherently readers that really lean to Valiant, whereas some people in the comic book collecting, and that's what drives the sales of floppies still today, and that's the potential return on investment, right? I mean, if you think about it, you know, floppies really wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that, because, you know, that's what's driving the market. People buying, you know, ratio variants with the hope of a return, and, you know, multiple covers. You know, if you're just a story, you know, you just want to read the story and see the art, you can buy a graphic novel or buy it digitally.
Right. I mean,
so, you know, a lot of people that are readers, those are the ones, you know, people diss on Valiant only because the value is not there. You know, typically in the comic book deal, the VH1 stuff holds some value. By and large, that's it. Like the pre-Unity stuff, that's what holds value. Everything else you can find relatively inexpensive. So if you are a reader and you do like to read paper products, you can generally find them without breaking the bank, which is another good thing.
Good point.
Did you do that, Newell? Like find the actual paper? Did you like paperback, or did you do the actual issues? I forgot.
I've been reading everything digitally so far. I did get remember I found that one, you found that copy of the Archer and Armstrong book. A friend of mine out in Chicago picked that up for me. He hasn't sent it to me yet because he was waiting. He was getting something else he was sending me. So, but that'll be my only physical copy of Valiant stuff so far when I get that.
Yeah. Whereas I have all the runs for.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff.
VH2.
And which one is it you have 200 copies of? Like, was that Turok number 1?
Yeah, number 1. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So why is that, Jason? I think I want to double click into that. It's not just you, but like West Coast Avengers. I mean, a handful of the folks also collect a ton of Turok number 1s. Is that just a thing?
Yeah, it's just kind of a thing because, you know, that book, if you're of a certain age, you remember when that book came out, how awesome it was. I mean, you're mixing, you know, Native American culture versus dinosaurs. I mean, where could you go wrong with that? And so, and the chromium cover, the embossed cover, Bart Sears art, it's just, you couldn't go wrong. There were just so many covers up there, so many issues of them printed. And you can find them, most comic shops that you go to that have dollar bins, you can generally find them there in the dollar bins. And that's what I've done as I've traveled and I visit comic shops in the areas that I go to. I always try to rescue them. I feel sad to leave them there where they're not loved. So I want to bring them back home. So
they're beautiful books too. I mean, if you look at just the quality of print run, I mean, these days, I feel like the paper, the paper has definitely gone downhill on some of the, you know, big 2 printings.
Well, you know, and talking about Turok 1, I think it was Bob Layton that told the story about that book, or was it Yeah, it was Turok 1. That originally that book was supposed to be full cut chromium, because if you think about like Exo Zero
Yeah.
and Bloodshot Zero, they're full wrap around chromium covers. Something happened and they couldn't do it, so it ended up being just like Bloodshot 1, and being a just a minimalist chromium piece. Bloodshot 1 and Valiant has always been known as the gimmick leader of sorts, because Bloodshot 1 was the first chromium cover in comics.
That's interesting. I wonder, we did say we were going to talk a little bit about who we had in mind appearing this year. One person that I think can comment on that is Kevin Van Hook, because he was the editor, I think, at the time, and then he was the guy in charge of all the chromium covers. He's the one that went out and sourced it, and he has some really cool stories about going to this plant in San Diego, and then they were trying to figure out different ways to do these covers. But man, Bloodshot 0 or 1? 0, right? Bloodshot 1. Bloodshot 1 and Turok 1 would have been cool if they were actually full chromium covers.
Right. Yeah. And you think about how going into Dinesh's era, first glass cover, Valiant.
Glass?
Yeah.
Was it glass? Like real glass?
Yeah, it's real glass.
How does
Oh
that
my god! And you could get it graded, and it's guaranteed 10.
So, used to, no, it's not. Used to, you can get them graded. It's one of the grading companies, CBCS or CGC, that won't grade them. The other one would, but I think they stopped because what happens when they encapsulate them, you run risk of that glass cracking.
Yeah, because you got to pressurize it, I imagine.
Them, it's their fault, right?
Right.
And so I actually have one over there. If you want me to get it, I'll show it to you. How they?
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see what this looks like, actually, because these are all the things that just makes it so freaking interesting when it comes to Valiant and different phases of it.
Yeah.
It was under stewardship by a few folks, and so Dinesh being one of them.
Yeah, so this is the Bloodshot Rising Spirit. This is the first glass cover. This is not my favorite one. Fallen World with, by, I think, Doug Braithwaite did the cover. This is a Ken Lashley cover. I have a shot of him.
The original art of that too?
No.
And how is that glass? Is it just like taped onto the cover? The comic
it's stuck on the cover.
So
the back of it's paper. So where you would not get a 9/8 is obviously if the glass is cracked or like it gets dented in that back or on the comic itself, that type of thing. But this is actually, I think this one. I was thinking that this one was cracked. Thought I remember seeing a crack somewhere. Anyway, so there's several of these out there. There's actually an Archer and Armstrong wood cover.
What the heck?
from the last it's a 1 in 250. There's a Bloodshot, is it Kevlar cover? It's made of some kind of weird material that I got John Boy Myers to sign. But they just nifty little side bits.
Wow, I mean, that's definitely stuff we need to get Dinesh on here to talk about. This is the wood cover, right? It's like a burnt wood. That looks cool. I definitely need to get a piece of that for sure. Looks fun, but I still haven't gotten to,
I have the cover to that.
This one?
That Hulk 1 homage.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the title is a separate art piece, and so I have both of them. So
it's like an overlay kind of thing, or someone drew it.
It's on separate 11x17, so they just put it together for print.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I can't wait till we get to this era because we're all gonna read and dive in it together. Right now, we're still at VH1, so once we get there, what was the other one? Bloodshot Kevlar cover.
Yeah, is it? What's the name? What's it called here?
Oops. I put Blood Kevlar. What does that look like?
It's black. It's a John Boy Myers cover.
Let's see if it shows up. Any of these look familiar?
No. There it is. Right there.
This one?
There it is. Yeah.
I remember this image.
Carbon fiber. That's what it is. Okay.
Okay. I remember this image because when I first came back into collecting original art, this was one of the covers that John Boy was selling, and I contemplated buying it. So I remember this. It was cool. Was this during the Dinesh era as well, or after?
That was like right after he left, I believe.
Got it. Right towards the end. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring him here to talk about all the Valiant adventures while he was in charge, and all the decision making surrounding all these covers. But I mean, for me personally, one of the big highlights 2024 was starting the stream. I just felt like I needed a way to kind of re-engage with Valiant, and I think a lot of the conversation we were having, Jason, they were just like super mind-blowing to me and allow me to like appreciate the Valiant universe in a much bigger way now. And also, as much as I was always like a purist when it came to the OG Valiant, it now allowed me to like appreciate what happened after as well. And I think it's fun because we're definitely going on an adventure with a brand that's loved, but because of the inconsistencies and just the change of hands of ownership, folks who are more casual kind of just lost track of it. And I do feel like hopefully through our stream, folks can get caught up, like we're going to catch up on all this.
For sure.
So let's talk about comic art real quick. Some highlights. Obviously, we've all been collecting quite actively. I just happened to get to your page first, Jason. So let's dive into it, man. I mean, anything you want to highlight? Any major memories? Any major events? Is this
the Solar? Yeah, the Solar page with the Death of Rise is probably a highlight not only of last year. You passed it; it was right up there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, right.
Yeah, see it right. No, yeah. Well, that one's one of them too.
Oh, that was awesome too.
Yeah. So the one with there you go, right there.
This one, okay. Yeah, I've seen you post this a few times. This is huge for you. Why?
Yes. So Rye 7 was the first Valiant comic book I read, which is the death of the. It's not technically the original Rye, but the original one that everybody was introduced to, and so. Reading that is like, what? They just killed this character off. He just got here. And then, of course, reading Rye and the Future Force, they left him dead, which was an amazing concept that most companies don't like to do anymore. But so this is actually from Solar 13. They reused that panel.
Oh, so cool.
That page, that's the Solar page. And then that's the Rise 7 page. So you notice that I haven't seen the Rise 7 page in real life. Joe St. Pierre, who drew that issue, does not have it. I've asked. But I would imagine it's just a stat, which was common as they were cutting and pasting all these Unity pages together. But yeah, you can see it's the same deal. So I had to have it. Shout out to Dan Moeller, who we hope to get on here, huge Valiant collector. And that's the Unity card. The image was also used for, and there's a Wizard magazine that was talking. The whole Wizard magazine is dedicated to Valiant, and it was actually used in that too. So
that's cool. You know what? I need to learn to do this. Basically, pull all the images of where a particular art piece was used. It's kind of cool just to see, how it was serviced at the time.
Was that like a special Wizard issue or something?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's talking about the whole Valiant universe.
Yeah. Cause I don't remember that one.
And so this was a big page for me as a Valiant collector. And, this is one of those phone calls that Carl alluded to earlier, where I was really hoping Carl would say, man, you need to chill out. You don't need to buy that page. And he's like, man, if he'll go down to this, I don't know. I mean, I'd be picking it up. And
Carl has yet to tell me don't do it.
Like if you're standing at the edge of a cliff and you're like doubting your life choice,
he's over there like,
Carl.
I'm the one to call. No, I will say no. I mean, but you have to admit this one is like a mandatory, right? For Mr. Jason, who has literally like a logo, Southern Comic Geek, based on the Ride in the Future Force logo.
That is true. Well, and I think that you're like the first and only person that ever caught that, the coloring, because like, people thought that the purple logo was more for either Ninja Turtles or Hulk and Hulk pants. But literally the guy that did my logo is from Russia, and I sent him a Ride in the Future Force cover, and he took it from that logo. That's the color.
Oh, that's so funny.
I didn't know that till just now.
There we go.
Now you know, and knowing's half the battle.
Secret origin.
Now you know about the attachment, and I think that's why it's actually really important for Jason.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. And everybody's like sometimes like just a piece collector. They enjoy the art, which certainly I do. But the attachment with Valiant, I mean, here we got a Don Perlin page. I mean, I don't know anybody that collects art that goes, man, Don Perlin's my favorite artist. Right. He's not the Jim Lee. He's not the flashiest one out there, but there's so many stories, obviously, because of his attachment to Valiant after leaving Marvel. So many stories that he was integral in. And so, I've got quite a few Perlin pages in my calf gallery as a result of that. And it's just the story behind it.
Yeah, that was one of my checklist items too. Because I felt like, I bought it. I think literally I bought a page the week that he passed, which was pretty sad. But at the same time, it was on my checklist because he is so instrumental to so many of the pages that happened in Valiant. But this is kind of cool how they mix the art too, though. Like Joe St. Pierre and then Don Perlin on the bottom. And I'm kind of trying to remember if I even realized they did that at the time.
Yeah, I've got a Harbinger page from the final battle with Solar and Mother God that they did that same thing. The whole page I own is actually only the one panel's used. And the rest of it, which was great art, I guess got scrapped to the ages. But the other thing about this page, if you'll notice, look at the up there. These are the overlays that are the stats that are still on there, the word bubbles. Yeah. Notice in the images, there's no word bubbles. So originally they had her saying stuff. There was, a dialogue word bubble and then her saying stuff. But in the image, she don't say anything.
Interesting. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, it would be interesting to talk to somebody, whether Shooter or maybe Leighton, that could maybe elaborate on like what they thought she might say. Because it is one of those scenes where it's like she's already said enough up to this point, like just relishing the fact she just blew him away. So, and of course, Ride dies, giving them time to free Solar, which Solar being freed is the only way that they won. So, Ride sacrificed himself and.
Yeah, man, there's a big moment, not just for your collection, but I feel like for the history of Valiant during this era. I think it's a big, big moment.
Yeah.
Congrats.
And I was reading Harbinger, and I just saw the moment where he runs off to go stop her while they go save Solar.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We dive into that again.
So there's, the Unity pages are a little of the pricier version, but if you're just wanting like a part of that moment, they cross over so many times. Like you could get that same moment in Harbinger or that same moment in Solar or so on and so forth. And so if you're just like wanting a scene, you've got several options there. That's one of the nice things. But yeah, I mean, a lot of those top picks were from this year. Certainly the Barry Windsor Smith page.
Yeah, this is such a beauty, man.
Being able to score that. And so, I can't really blame Carl for this one because when I called him or texted him about it, I was like, man, check out these other pages. Do you want to like look at these other ones? Like there's two other ones that were okay, but they weren't this. So I had already laid claim to this one. I wasn't like, because I figured like if Carl was going to get one, he'd say, okay, I want that one. I'm like, but Carl, that's the one I want. So I said, if you want the other two. And the only thing you could have done better with this would have been him being an outfit. But other than that, I mean, just the line work. This one's in the portfolio. It's coming with me to OAX, which I'm sure will be brought up on this stream at some point.
Yes.
This one's coming to OAX for Leighton to sign. And I hope none of you get behind me at OAX because I've got a lot of stuff for Bob Lake to sign.
Does he charge, or is these all free signatures?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
maybe I should bring stuff for him too. It'd be cool to get him to.
Yeah, I do this with the comics too, but comics are mass produced, so you don't have quite the effect. But with the art piece, you got the artist there, and they're like, "Wow, I remember this coming across my desk." Most of the time, they're remembering the spot, the drink they were drinking, the cigarette they were smoking, whatever. It's really interesting to get them to sign their own old art pages, and if the word bubbles are on there, also get the writer to sign it too.
Good idea. Yeah, it's interesting because I often talk to artists about their pages, and you're right, they have like really vivid memories of where they were, what they were doing while working on the pages, and it just shows that how much they actually pour into each of these pages because they actually really remember, and so it always kind of blows me away how much memory they have for each page. Yeah. All right. That's great. Those are two amazing highlights for art collecting. How about you, Stingray? I know you don't have a ton of Valiant art, but any highlights that you will point out?
Yeah, the big one for me was right there at the end of the year, just almost a month ago now. I won at auction a page from Prince Namor the Submariner number 19, which was the first appearance of Stingray.
Where is it?
I don't have it up. It's like it's the next to last one. Just go to my Stingray gallery. It's toward the top of that.
Stingray gallery.
Yeah. Did you get it in yet?
No, they haven't even right there. They haven't even shipped it yet. So I posted it before I got it. I just used the picture from the site, but I was so excited I had to share it. I wanted it to be part of the 2024. But this is a Marie Severin page. This is from 1969. It's the first appearance issue with Stingray, in costume, and first time he used the name Stingray. This is a great action page. It's just really beautiful. You get that close up on the bottom right panel there. I think that's awesome.
This is super cool. This close up.
Yeah, I mean, and as a Stingray collector, as a character collector, like this is like peak. This is going to be a cornerstone in my collection. And if you scroll back up a little bit, Carl. It's hard to see it, but in that upper left-hand corner, Marie Severin signed it in white ink. Can you see it there?
Sorry, let me go back.
No, you're good. I just put the color page in there.
Let's see. Where is it?
Upper left. It's hard to see, but it's...
upper left here. God, I see it.
Right there. Yep. There you go.
Cool.
So I can't wait to see that in person too, seeing her signature on there. I think that's really cool.
So has it not arrived yet? It's been a while.
They haven't even shipped it because according to their website, it can take up to 3 weeks for them to pack it and ship it. So 3 weeks would be next week. So hopefully it ships out because I'm hoping that it gets to me before OAX because I'd like to bring it with me.
Yeah, this
is there's another guy on CAF that owns a page from this book, and I don't know. I need to talk to him, but he might bring his page too so that we can see him together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Look at this bridge right here. Is it a bridge?
So that's the Brooklyn Bridge. It's a stat, but
it's a stat. That's
it's
pretty
still
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's so funny how many people are like, wow, that bridge is great. And I'm like, but what about Stingray?
I think it stands out because of the level of detail, but now
the detail, the perspective, like it's just really, really nice. It's really well done. Well rendered.
Well rendered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that bridge panel.
See.
So it's interesting. I had a question for you, Newell. Stingray. I noticed when Sean worked on his commission for you last year, he kind of put I think the nose. Was it like the nose?
Right there.
There's like a face. There's a face.
Yeah,
is that normal, or is that something that Sean did? Because I haven't seen that as much.
Depends a little bit. Go back to the gallery.
Okay.
And look for the one on the right there, right there. You're hovering over. That's the Kreese Lee one I bought last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Zoom in on that one. Look, he did the same thing.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's not super typical from what I've seen, but I like it when they do that. I think it's cool. Like, you see that with Spider-Man sometimes where they try to put real creases in it, make it like adhere to the face more, make it like look like there's an actual person under there.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. And in this particular one, Stingray looks pissed, and I think that's kind of fun.
I think he looks really good here, actually. He looks kind of badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So I think it's cool when Sean did that, and the fact that he did that with just like a light touch of paint. I thought that was really cool. It's very subtle, but I think it's super effective.
Can I do a quick?
This is another page I picked up last year. I didn't own any published Stingray art before 2024, and I picked up like 4 pages. So
yeah. So quick plug is Kreese is actually going to have his comic come out through 24/7's Kickstarter.
Is that the Bladesmith?
Yeah, Bladesmith.
Nice.
In a couple of weeks. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna throw it up real quick.
Yeah, go for it. That's a good segue.
Yeah, good random segue. I didn't expect to see a Kreese piece on the gallery, but here it is.
Hey man, I'm here to help.
Yeah,
here's your QR code.
Oh, thank you so much. QR code done. So that's a little Bladesmith sticker that we passed out. But think of this as like our version of Kingsman, but instead of being suit killers by day, assassins by night, these guys are master chefs by day, assassins by night. And so
see, that sounds fun.
I want to read it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So anyone who's watching this right now would super appreciate a quick click on the notify me on launch. I'll throw the little here. Let's see. There you go. I'll throw a link there, and would appreciate a follow when we launch. But it's really fun, really fun story. Justin Kalen Chen, he is one of the writers on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air sequel called Bel-Air on Paramount. I haven't seen it yet, but it's done really well. Also, there's a Netflix show called Brother's Son that he also wrote on.
Okay.
Yeah, Linji, who brought Bladesmith here, is because Bladesmith was actually a screenplay. And when you read it, he was like, oh, this actually reads more like a comic book. And then when I read it, I was like, yeah, I agree. But it's also a great screenplay. And so what's fun is, since he brought it to the table, Linji himself was a CIA agent on the marketing creative side. And he basically was moving more on the creative side of things. So Justin actually invited him to co-write it with him. And so amongst the three of them is a full-on Asian American team with an Asian protagonist, character, and then Will Quintana, who also colored Zero Ghost, will be colored as well. So
awesome.
That's a little plug there. But yeah, it's cool to see a Kreese interpretation of Stingray. I actually really, really like it a lot.
Yeah, it was a Fantastic Four book, and they were going on an underwater adventure, so Stingray cameoed, but I was happy.
Yeah, I can safely say you have one of the best Stingray galleries I've ever seen.
I mean, it's the best. You can just say
it could be the only, actually.
There's like maybe 4 other guys on CAF that have like good Stingray art, but they've got like 1 or 2 pieces a piece. If you type Stingray into the search bar, like 90% of the art you see will be in my gallery.
So you say you started published art in 2024.
I didn't have any published Stingray art till last year. This is a John Buscema, Tom Palmer page from Avengers.
Nice.
Him and Machine Man versus a crappy like one-off villain called Heavy Metal.
Okay.
Yep.
Heavy Metal. This is the guy.
Yeah, the guy on the left there. Yeah.
Oh, and Machine Man's in this too.
Yep. Yeah, Stingray, Machine Man versus Heavy Metal.
Oh.
Heavy Metal was this weird villain that like took control of a lot of mechanical villains like the Super Adaptoid and a couple of others. I believe in the previous issue, Machine Man was under his control as well. But this is one of those scenes where like Machine Man and Stingray fought. They had a misunderstanding. He thought he was still under Heavy Metal's control, but he's like, no, I'm a good guy. I'm here to help. And so this is them teaming up. But then Stingray gets beat up and goes to sleep. So Machine Man has to fight him on his own.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm a big fan of Machine Man. I'm actually kind of sad I missed out on one of the covers, Kirby covers on the auction.
I saw that one. Yeah.
That was cool. Went for a great price as well. What's up, Carl? Kenneth? How's it going? Oh, Mr. Tom McDonald, who was also probably a reason why this whole stream came together, because he organized a little meetup at the Hard Rock. And
That's a good point, Tom. I'll have to reach out to him.
Yeah. Good note. And then Derek, just we missed this earlier, but this was, I think, a comment towards that Rise Death page, that not having words had the most impact. Do you agree, Jason?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, you kind of let
so.
it settle in, by just staring at the image.
Yeah, because she literally just blasted him like into like ashes. So poor guy. All right, it's cool. So we got the highlights there. Okay, my turn. I mean, there's just no. I mean, for me, it's just pretty obvious. I think this guy was this last year or the year before? Yeah, this was last year. So this was, I'll spare everyone the long story, but long story short is I missed it while I was getting my COVID shot.
Oh yeah.
In a really unfortunate incident, and the person who purchased it, I ended up becoming friends with, which we'll maybe cover this later when he joins us on the show, who is actually happened to be Dinesh. And then I end up having a chance to get it from him later when there was a auction that came up for another page that was a Valiant page. And then he ended up saying, "Man, you're going to go that hard for that one? I'll just sell this one to you." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I did buy that. This one was just probably at the time well, it is still, I think, my biggest purchase today. And it was kind of like, before I picked it up, was just kind of like, did I just do the craziest thing ever in my life? And it felt that way. But once it was in hand, I just felt like, okay, this is cool. This definitely like really was always going to be a big piece of my collection. And this one, it's crazy because Archer Armstrong has always been like a huge personal story to me. And so this one was just crazy coming across of it. Didn't realize it was available, but it was offered to me, and I still can't believe it's in my hand. But I think similar to like what Ryan means to Jason, I think Archer Armstrong means that much to me. So without boring everyone, you guys could kind of read the details here.
And it's BWS. I mean,
yeah, BWS has definitely been one of my favorites. So I would say those are my two obvious highlights. But the less obvious highlight, I mean, this one too, the Secret Weapon 1. This was actually from DM.
That one's just cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Joe St. Pierre, another highlight within the whole kind of Valiant world. I mean, he's done probably as much work as like Don Perlin did, right, Jason?
Yeah, starting, I think Secret Weapons was probably the last part of it that he did, but the early Rise stuff was all him.
Yeah, I would say also Secret Weapon. What's interesting is when you talk about Turok #1 in the dollar bins, this is probably another one of those in the dollar bins.
Well, exactly, and Secret Weapons was their attempt at an Avengers, right? And so Wyachek inked that. Wyachek was at Baltimore. He's blind now.
He's blind.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I got him to sign my Bloodshot 1, which he was the inker on that as well, and so, or inker on the interiors. And so yeah, it'd be cool to get him to sign that. I think Joe does a lot of like northeastern cons still.
Okay.
Wyachek was with the Heroes Initiative, so.
You know what? I realized this is not signed by either of them, so I should get them to sign it. And it'd be kind of cool to do like the white ink.
Yeah. You have to hold his hand and guide it for him to put it wherever he wants to. So
yes, he signed my sketchbook.
Okay,
and,
that's cool.
It kind of breaks my heart. He's blind now as an artist. But those are my highlights. Cool. So let's talk about 2025. I mean, I'll state the obvious. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in person at a very special event called OAX.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was if you'd asked me a month ago, I would have said I was more excited for OAX than I was for Christmas.
right?
I mean,
Because if OAX is anything like Baltimore was, as far as like people just bringing like awesome stuff and just saying, hey, let's look through this, like,
Oh yeah.
let alone if you're able to pick up, a big page or something, because you're going to have so many pages there. There's got to be something that wants to get pried loose.
Well, yeah. I mean, as of right now, I don't plan on buying anything at the show because I've spent so much on like pre-show. Right. I spent so much on pre-show commissions, and then that auction came up, and then I had another one last week. Like stuff keeps popping up, and I'm just like, where was all this Stingray stuff at the beginning of the year?
Well, you know what you did? When people start noticing stuff going, they're like, well, I got this page. I didn't think nobody cared for it. Let me put this one out there.
Yeah.
So it's like you're calling it out of the ether.
I manifested it. Yeah. I don't know, maybe, but I'm okay with that. So I'm not like planning on spending any additional money at the show, but if something really amazing comes up, I'll have to just like damage my credit cards again. It's fine.
I know.
Who needs a credit score? It's fine.
Actually, it helps your credit score sometimes to have a higher balance on it.
Well, as long as you go over 50%.
You're making that up.
Yeah. But we got a lot of commissions. I mean,
I'm getting 6 commissions.
6 commissions. Who do you have?
Mannix, which I'm joining Mannix Mania. I'm excited about that. Yes. Let's see. Keep going. Scroll. I'm getting one from Oranga, which is cool. Nice. I'm getting a Simone DeMio, which I'm super excited about. I'm getting
gonna be a crazy Stingray. He's very competitive. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. Dude, I saw one he did recently. I forget what it even was, but it was amazing. I'm getting one from Bob Layton. Nice. I'm getting the one from Near Levy, which you guys have seen. That one, I can't wait to see that one in person. That one's so amazing.
Oh my god, that one is just that's gonna really stand out for sure.
That one's next level, man. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. No. I'm blanking now on what else. Wayshack. Wayshack is the other one.
Oh, Wayshack. Yeah, I highly recommend Wayshack. I highly recommend Bart Sears for those of you watching and considering commissions. Definitely.
I bet he would do a badass Stingray.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, there was a few others I wanted to get, but I mean, the DeMeo alone was kind of pricey, so I had to pick and choose.
No, DeMeo is so worth it though, because he works traditional, but it literally looks digital because
dude, I really thought I read a few of his books. What was that one he did? We Only Find Them When They're Dead. The one about
that book. I have the hardcover.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's an Al Ewing story and Simone on the art. I literally thought the whole thing was digital, and it wasn't until I saw some of his stuff online and talked to Matt DiTullio about it. I was surprised. I was shocked to find out he was a traditional, that he was actually drawing on paper, and that he can get it to look that smooth and that it's crazy.
Yeah, that was great. I think OX really helped because he did a lot of his commissions live. Even for me, I had at that point bought like a complete issue, and when I got it, I was like, wow, this is so good, but so clean. And like was kind of questioning, wait, did he like print this stuff out, whatever? And obviously you see the ink bleeds on the back. But once I saw it, and then I brought that full issue there for a few folks to look at, everyone was kind of like, oh my God, he's for reals. And then and I think his commission was suspended.
Like I just saw the other day, Matt posted a cover he did. It's the Batman one with the police tape, do not cross, where he's got, it's like just Batman's chest, but with the tape and everything. You don't even see his head or anything. Such an amazing cover. It's such a cool layout. Like he thinks about things differently, his layouts, his composition and all that. And it's really, really, really interesting to see what he's going to do with my commission. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is going to be great. Did you pick anything up, Jason, for pre-show?
Yeah, I've got Bob Layton and Joe Weems. And those are the two. I was going to pick up a Mannix piece, but I managed to get a Mannix piece from Mannix off of Comic Art Live.
Oh, nice. Which one?
The Thanos copter.
Oh, no. That was cool. That was really cool. That was really cool.
That's
and so,
awesome.
yeah, so Jiggy's got it, and he's just bringing it. And so,
Hey,
Yeah,
Carl, can you highlight a comment real quick? Can you get Derek's?
Sure. All right, Derek, where are you?
The last one. Yeah, I want to point out that the PG-13 Carl nickname is sticking. I like that. I'm happy. because
awesome.
because Carl Choi's XXX Carl, so Carl Sodergren is PG-13 Carl. For anybody who didn't know,
I know. Matt DiTullio and I have been talking about printing T-shirts, but now I feel like it's a little dated. So it's like way back, and so
well, Matt is a XXX Pro now.
Oh, he's a XXX Pro, so no more ADD. I like the whole ADD, amateur dueling dealers.
Yeah.
It's like a ADD XXX.
So Bob Layton, of course, Bob. I mean, he finished my commission like the next day. I mean, he's so fast.
How's he move so fast? Like it's he did that for me too. I bought my friend Exo Man of War 1 recreation, but with some different text, and he literally like showed it to me like the day after. I don't know how.
Yeah, he got mine done in like a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super fast. But it's a Hulk 340 homage, but it's Rye holding the sword and Mother God in the reflection.
Like I saw that one on Instagram, and it looked really nice.
So yeah,
very cool.
And he's one of those artists that I feel like his energy levels may not have dwindled at all through the years. I feel like he's continuously pumping out work. I see him interacting with fans. I see him taking in commissions. He's a machine. Amen.
Well, and so much of his stuff, obviously with his connection in Valiant, is his line and ink work, just screams like Barry Windsor Smith, at times when he's drawing. So you can definitely tell an influence there.
So, folks, if you're watching this, later or whatnot, there's still a good amount of commissions. All you gotta do is fill out this commission request form, and then and Bob will show you the finished results the next day.
Probably.
He was in the chat a couple weeks ago telling Bill, like, I got more time. I got more time, where everybody else is like, all right, trying to settle down.
Which is crazy because he's constantly traveling back and forth and just madness.
Madness. I don't know how he does it. So let's jump to exhibitors. Gosh, this is way more than last year. Any highlights of ones you guys are excited to see? Besides Cool Lines, he's definitely the big highlight always.
Don't go over there; you'll be disappointed.
It's hard.
It's funny because I was on a show on my channel the other day, and I wasn't going to call their names out, but somebody from the art community came in and said, "Well, that's probably a pretty cool dealer," or something to that effect. And I was like, yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to just look at the stuff in person, but as far as purchasing, I mean, anytime I've ever reached out to them on like a price, just like, okay, humor me, tell me what the price is. Yes. I've always been like, okay, yeah, never mind, go away. So.
Weirdly, though, I've done a number of deals with them. I'm actually doing a pretty major pickup at OAX. And
so what's the secret, or do you want to share it?
I can share
secret of what the page is, like the secret of how you're doing the deal.
Yeah, I'll share privately because I feel like if I share too openly, I don't want Steve to feel like I'm kind of have a formula and whatnot. But
the secret, Jason, is he throws lots of money at them.
Carl just comes in doing this.
The short is a car trunk full of cash.
Right.
There's a strategy behind that, right? So I have done a few deals with them. So much as they do hold like a number of art that actually are pretty appealing to a lot of folks in the community. Mm-hmm. And I think I would say collectively, the last time Rob and I kind of schemed up a little strategy to make it a win-win situation. So I'll put it out there. Anyone collecting art and has something at Cool Lines that's interested, let's talk. I feel like there's ways for us to create win-win situations.
Well, and Bashar is much the same way to me. I mean, he's got some really cool pieces, but like, don't talk about any kind of discount or anything. Just forget it.
Bashar,
And maybe Anthony spoils me. I mean, I anytime I've done business with Anthony just wants to deal in volume. So
Yeah.
Anthony's volume. I've never dealt with Anthony yet.
Really?
Bashara I've dealt with. He also did something pretty reasonable for me.
Okay.
I think what Bashara works well with is sitting down at the table and then bringing your portfolio, talking through pricing, and then he actually gave some pretty reasonable trade terms for me. I felt kind of worked out. So I don't know if it's just in the scenario of what I was trading for, but I did get my Sword of Azrael 4 cover from Bashara. So so there's that.
So I'm looking forward to meeting the next Karma Cart crew that's going to be there. I've never met any of them, so that's going to be cool.
Very good.
And I think I'm going to be meeting a bunch of the card guys too, the trading card guys.
Yeah, Lakeville, man. Steve.
Yeah, well, Steve, Jose, Justin, Matt, and I feel like there's one other one I forgot. Oh, Fausto, those guys, all of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's been interesting. I'm gonna premiere a piece of original card art as well at OAX. I believe one of the artists will be bringing it there. So I won't talk about it till its premiere, and we can all kind of react to it.
Is it? Hold on, can you tell me? Is it magic art?
Related.
Okay.
But yeah, Lakeview is Steve, who I met last year.
Okay.
He was sitting in front of me during the auction.
Okay.
He was kind of bidding. He actually won, I think, that Weapon X original art.
Yep, he did. He just did an interview on CAF this week, and he showed that one off, and he showed off his collection, and just holy crap, man, that guy's insane.
So Justin off of Spidey Hits did a video with him down there at his place. Dude, that guy's got some killer pieces all on his walls and stuff.
He has several of the original paintings from the '94 Hildebrandt Masterpiece set. Like, he's crazy, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got the Thanos Quest cover and stuff.
Starlin, yeah.
Oh my God, there was a moment where he started going through his house and showing all the Thanos stuff. That was pretty crazy.
Yep.
I don't remember when it was, but he's definitely built quite the collection, and then in a relatively short amount of time too, right?
Yeah, because he said he kind of started around 2018.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys should definitely check it out. It was a great watch. I sent it to a few friends who are kind of like borderline comic art collectors, but they do collect the card art or just cards. And so
and so Bill's been interviewing all the card guys recently. They did Fausto, they did Justin, they did Steve, and I think this Monday they're going to talk, or Tuesday they're going to talk to Jose. That's
great. I'm excited. So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty big card art presence. I think a lot of it has to do with this kind of expansion, the card art expo.
Yeah.
When we get to our show and tell segment, folks, I actually just got in a card art as well.
Well, you know what? If we're gonna do that, I got something I can show off too.
Okay, perfect, good. We'll always close off with our show and tell. So there's that exhibitor schedule. Okay, right now it's day 1. Okay, let's talk about this. Day 1 schedule.
Well, day 1 is just the reception, right?
That was so good. Last year was awesome.
So I'm looking forward to it. Getting to mingle, getting to just meet people before the show.
Yep.
Without having the distractions of all the art.
The coolest thing is, it kind of remind me of like, weird to say, almost like a high school cafeteria, because everyone kind of sat wherever. It's free seating. So
yeah.
You go buffet, and then you basically go and you sit next to whoever you want to sit next to.
Right. Well, I assume I'm going to be sitting with the Carls. The cool.
Yeah, we're all going to sit together for sure. I think we're going to start together, and then we're all going to start jumping around after we finish eating. Because that's.
Well, I mean, I'll follow you around. You can introduce me because you know everybody.
We'll hang out. We'll definitely hang out. But one of the things was, I think they're going to cut back on the food a little bit this year.
Okay.
And so that allow people to go eat afterwards.
But there's still an open bar.
Yeah, still open bar, so I mean, tons of drinking. And then day 2, the show floor. I mean, this is something I kind of regret last year. I think I like went out during the first day, and I didn't like.
Where did you go?
We
What else did you have to do?
We went to Epcot Center.
Oh, during the show?
Like right in the morning.
Dude.
Oh no, actually no, it was the day before.
Okay.
Where did we go? We went somewhere, I think, and then we came back, and I felt like I missed half the day. I'll be honest too. Last year, I was kind of like capped off on my budget, and I went into OAX saying I'm just gonna hang out with friends and not buy anything. I mean, obviously, that was like I ate that for sure, because that was the first time I ever committed to a piece on time payments.
Okay.
This was Azrael cover number 4, and so not only did I eat my words, I went overboard by committing to my first time payments. And then the pizza art auction, that was a really fun one. Last year was Nick Barucci and Palmiotti. Yeah, so that was fun.
I think they're going to run it again this year.
Yeah, and then day 3, this is one I also regret missing, was there's free sketches, man. There was like a long line of
that sounds really cool.
Yeah, sketch cards, and people got to do sketches. I didn't do any of that. I think the last day I actually went out for lunch, and so I missed a ton of stuff. And then I think there's some artist experiences. I think what's the name? One of the Cuberts, he offered like a tour, and then you like sat with him, and then I think there's a video on it somewhere on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's good coverage for OAX. Are we all staying at Hilton DoubleTree?
Oh yeah,
man. Yeah.
So we're there.
If you're having the show in a hotel, why would you not stay there?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's an option. Yeah.
I think that's important. So yeah, man. Carl, I agree. There's tons of meetings.
So I'm getting in at like 3:30 or something like that, and the reception is at 5. So I don't know how much time I'm going to have to meet people beforehand, but hopefully
Yes, Carl, PG-13. I have a plan.
Well, that's good.
I mean, one of the big key highlights. Nuala and I are copied on an email with Tatiana in regards to having Magic the Gathering nights at OAX. So I think we only plan to do one, but I feel like it might happen more than once.
Well, I know that she talked about definitely Saturday night after the auction in the penthouse where all the card guys are hanging out.
Yes. So
Carl, PG-13 Carl, you and Tom, you guys should come learn how to play Magic. It'll be fun. Yeah,
you too, Jason. I mean, Magic,
obviously,
I think
Jason's invited too.
Yes. So you guys definitely all need to come. I arrive on Tuesday, the 21st, way early. And the only reason for that was I was planning to fly out on the 22nd, but that's also the day Bladesmith launches. So I have to participate in an all-day stream. So it would be almost impossible to do that on the flight.
Yeah.
I'm flying in on the Tuesday, and then I'll be working most of the 22nd, and then maybe once I'm done, I'll volunteer my time with whatever OAX team needs, and then I'll see you guys on that Thursday. How about you, Jason? And Noel already shared. Jason, what time are you landing?
Yeah, I'm. When am I coming in? I'm coming in Wednesday night. And so I think we're going to. So I'm bringing the latter half of the family. So I have 6 kids. So I'm bringing 3 of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so we're going to Universal on Thursday. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm coming around with you to the OAX adventures as well.
Maybe this one right here would be interested in it, but the rest of them not so much. Because he is a comic nerd too, but the rest of them not so much.
Okay. It'll just be for the theme park stuff.
That's right. Yeah, there's actually a Christian music concert being held with a bunch of artists at Universal Friday and Saturday night. So be doing that too.
That should be fun. Which artists?
I don't remember who all they are off the top of my head, but my daughter actually brought it up, and my older daughter, and it's like, wait a minute, that's the same day, the same weekend I'm there.
That's
so
cool.
yeah, so we're going to be doing that too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz in the Christian community with Angel Studios in the movie community.
Uh-huh.
You guys been killing it. It's been insane, even just as a business. But with that said, to answer Carl's question,
Tom was
PG-13.
asking what WTF
Oh, it's Tom.
Magic
Tom, yeah.
Gathering.
All right, Tom, Mr. McDonald. This is the reason why Magic the Gathering is happening at OAX. Marvel did a collaboration recently through.
Well, there's going to be more.
Yes, there will be way more through their Secret Lair brand. And basically, what
Well,
happened?
they're doing a whole full Spider-Man expansion in like Q4 of this year.
Correct.
Which I'm super excited for that. I'm going to draft the hell out of it.
Yeah, that one is going to just blow the lid off the whole Magic the Gathering. And I think since then, a lot of original art from this Secret Lair drop went on sale, and they sold for pretty crazy pricing. So
don't worry, Grandpa Tom. We'll hold your hand and walk you through it.
We'll walk you through it. But what's cool is Mr. McDonald, there's this format called Commander, and Commander allows you to pick a general, which is basically a legendary creature that you as a wizard control. And basically, Marvel introduced this drop, and you could play characters from the Marvel universe as part of your deck. And so,
Carl's got Black Panther on the screen right now. I am building a Black Panther deck at the moment.
Correct. So you build your own deck, and then we basically go and we fight against each other, and we try to knock each other out of 40 life. And so Newell just mentioned he's doing a Black Panther deck. Yeah. I built a Captain America deck that I played 5 times last night, which I love.
5 times?
Yeah, I played 5 games last night. With
got my Black Panther Secret Lair right here.
Yep, there we go. We got Iron Man as well. If you like, you're an Iron Man fan. What's really cool is they were able to take kind of very well-known cards in the Magic lore and then apply them with original comic art, like the Soul Ring itself. And then Storm is a very popular card, so they took a lot of the Storm mechanics and actually applied it to her card. And then Wolverine was a big one. The original art for this sold for what, like
$55K, I think.
$55,000. So
yeah,
there's a demand for card art.
And one thing I will say is I think that there's a concept in Magic where they talk about the flavor of a card, like how well they made it feel like what it's supposed to be, right? I think that they did a really good job with a lot of these Marvel characters in the Secret Lair to make them use mechanics in the game to make them feel like the characters from the comics, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of translating comic book characters into Magic cards. So I thought that was cool.
I think everyone was blown away. Everyone was so blown away because I've never had so many comic art friends want to play Magic. And in fact, a couple of weeks ago, Shaheen and Dinesh came to my house and learned to play Magic.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's cool. So,
yeah.
Tom, I hope you're all caught up from here.
I still think that Captain America being red, white, and blue was a little forced, but I'm glad that they made it work.
Yeah, I think so too. I love that part. And Clang, Valiant Comic Podcast. What's up, man?
Is that Clang like Quantum and Woody? The sound effect when they do the quantum bands?
Oh, look at that. That hard take. I didn't even pick that up. That was good.
Oh, good one. Nice.
And so I just dropped their link in the chat. They've got a few videos on their Valiant related videos on their stuff, and put that in the chat, their website.
In fact, we should have you guys, Clang, come to our stream as well, our TLDR, and share more about your journey this year.
Yeah.
All right. What else can everyone expect this year, guys? So we got OAX. What else are we excited about?
It's too early to tell.
yeah, it is too early to tell. I mean, I said last year that I was going to focus my, collecting into fewer bigger pieces because I added over 100 pieces of art to my calf last year. And, the problem with that was I said yes to the big pieces, but didn't say no to the small ones.
So I had the same thought, but I mean, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like there's a lot of wants, but needs, I need to learn to differentiate. And one of the practices I've learned is to write a list of needs. And
I mean, I totally agree with you, but like for me, you know, like that first appearance Stingray page came up to auction. I had no idea that was going to happen. That was a surprise, right?
That's true.
The piece that I got on auction last week, you know, the Bella piece. I didn't know that was coming up.
That was such a beauty, man.
She shipped that like 2 days ago. So I don't know how long that's going to take to get from Europe, but it's on the way.
Let me share this with folks in case they haven't seen it. Stingray, let's see.
So Clang mentions the Green Ronin's Valiant Adventure RPG, which I shared with you, Carl.
Is that the one that was on the Kickstarter?
Yeah, they're collecting their backer kits and doing some final editing on the books. So
nice.
I'm trying to look for the Stingray. Did Bella post Stingray on her Instagram?
Yeah, I think she did it on her stories or something.
I saw it on the Facebook where I saw it.
Right, that's where they were auctioning it.
Do you remember what group it was? I'm in so many different groups.
It's the Marvel and DC trading card collectors group or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Marvel trade. Oh yeah, there you go.
I know you're in that group because you commented on that post when it went up.
Yeah, I'm just in so many groups. I just don't remember. Okay, Stingray. Okay, I want to show this to folks because this thing is freaking awesome. Look at this.
All of her cards are pretty amazing.
What, dude?
Yeah. What's the size on that?
That's A3.
Okay.
She's one of those crazy Europeans. They have the weird paper sizes.
12 by 18s.
Yeah, look at that.
She's the coolest girl too. She's awesome.
Yeah, after I started bidding on this, Carl's like, "Oh yeah, we're good friends." I'm like, "Of course."
We work together. She's done covers for us. She went to Baltimore Comic Con the year before with.
Okay.
And they shared a table, so she's just really cool.
Yeah, I love that picture right there where you can see all the tools that she was using. That's really nice.
Yeah, even this, what a great design in the way she took the photo, right?
And her colors are just, I can only imagine that they're just even more amazing in person, and that's what I've been told. So I can't wait to see it when it gets here.
Yeah, great win, man, and I felt like the community really got behind you on this one too.
Oh yeah, I had at least 5 people ping me the night that it went up for auction. I literally had stepped out for a few minutes to go grab a quick food run, and I came back and I had like eight notifications all from Facebook, and I was like, "What in the hell?" And like James, Alberto, Dave Kopecki, Kazra, like a bunch of people are like, "Yo, get on this," And I was like, "All right, I'm in there, I'm here."
Well, that's the good bad thing about being a very niche collector. Like people start looking out for you.
Oh, that's not a bad thing.
Well,
never a bad thing. Oh.
Well, the temptation's there if you're not wanting to spend the money is what the bad thing is. But go ahead.
There's always more money.
I was just saying, like, there's not that much Stingray art out there, so I don't feel like I have to worry about it that much. But if it becomes a problem, I'll tell everybody to chill out.
Right. Well, one of the things you mentioned earlier, as far as having a list, which would be great. Like again, if Carl, you said you had a list. Ruben on his show the other night made a comment, and I don't really remember the context of it, of how that comment started. But it was about maybe Batman. But I was thinking like in the part of Hulk. But you could do that with Stingray. You could do that with any character whatsoever, is to have like a timeline of this character, right? And so not necessarily all the key battle pages, but to be able to tell the story with your art. So like you have something from a relatively first appearance or early appearance, key story arcs, that type of thing, all the way to current. Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah.
And so this is what I did with Hulk. I started saying, all right, well, like in the process of Hulk, like who are the top artists, right? And then, key storylines, and then started marking out the ones I had so you can tell a story with your art pages, which was an interesting concept to me. And if I could hold myself to it, would be one that would be nice to tell, because like if you do the Valiant one, you could start with VH1 with most every character. and hit those key story arcs. Go to VH2 if they're in there. Not all of them were. And then go to VEI and forward until that story inside those key arcs would be an interesting way to collect.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I think I need to actually make a list for Valiant because I realized I just have a general, VH1 one piece from every title by every artist, and that's too general. Because then what happens is I start going crazy with all this stuff.
Right.
And so I need to be a little bit more specific. And then same with like Bear Windsor Smith. Like I said, I wanted to have one sample from every title that he's worked on. But I think I had to hold back because I realized he's worked on so many freaking titles and a lot of titles that really didn't mean much to me.
Right.
And so I do need to hold back on that as well. Like, for example, there's some like Excalibur pages that are coming up and Wildstorm Rising. I know we've been chatting about it and like kind of figuring out who's getting what. A part of me was kind of like, neither of those books really was that big on my nostalgia list. Hard to, but I realized those are some of the things we talked about where like I may have to say no to some of these smaller pieces, so I just focus on the bigger stuff.
Because you're talking, you're saying yes to the smaller pieces, you're saying no to the bigger ones, right?
Exactly.
And so, I find that because a lot of the VH1 stuff is relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
Like all the Vosberg stuff I won, which was like super dirt cheap. So maybe that's not a good example, but like you're paying a couple $100 per pop on that page. And it's like it's a cool page, but I'm saying no to something else. So if I'm able to keep myself from buying those not as meaningful pages, I can, really save up for those more meaningful pages and focus my collecting that way. But at least it's a good idea. Bub's World, who is always full of wisecracks, says start with VH1, then MTV, then Vivo. Yeah. So
what happened to Vivo?
Yeah, we were just talking about being fans of pop-up video earlier.
Right. And Mike, 6 Air Station, big DC guy in the art realm too. Says he collects that way with his DC pages. So great.
And it's weird. Do you guys notice this? And I didn't notice this. I just chase after what I love. I have a lot of DC art because of Azrael and just Batman Azrael. And it's almost kind of treated like a niche in art collecting, like Valiant is.
A little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like most people collect Marvel art. And to
if
me,
it's not Batman,
yeah, right. They treat everything else as kind of a niche. But to me, I think it's highly undervalued because I'm a big believer of James Gunn. So, 2025, I am looking forward to Superman in a big way. I don't know if you guys watch Creature Commandos, but I highly recommend it. It's so freaking good. It's so good.
I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, we do live in a Marvel world by and large. And Hoarder's Hide says, ask, what's a Marvel?
With you, man. What the hell is a Marvel? I have no idea. I only really bought Marvel art this last year, too. I didn't buy that much Marvel art before that.
It's almost like Marcus is here with us.
Well, it's funny. It's funny.
Marcus.
In the Wednesday shows, the Dueling Dealers, and even at Baltimore when I saw Anthony, and we got to talk about Valiant. I'm like, I was telling him why I collected Valiant stuff, and he's like, huh. Well, then when that Mike Vosberg show happened, and like it wasn't just me, it was Dave Kopecki and other people. Andre were just picking up all those lots.
Andre was all over it.
And so I put in the chat, I said, see, Anthony, you need to notice that you need to have more Valiant art. So then the other night I made a comment, where's the Valiant art? He's like, it's on my website, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're getting that stuff. I get it. It's a wider, field if you're trying to sell it and flip it pretty quickly. But and DC
Becky as well as Andre are both two future guests as well. I think we've talked to them already, and so they will be joining us in a future episode of TLDR.
Nice.
Tom says Gun Superman not testing well, so the DC guy that makes me nervous. Yeah, Tom is definitely a fellow DC guy as well. All right, what else? What else are we excited about? 2025. About half more hour, or we can move to show and tell. If there's anything to show and tell.
Yeah, I've got. I know I do. Have
Okay, go for it.
have a
Mine
whole
is
stack.
not even. Oh wow, go for it. Dude. Like, yeah, rock out.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to make a deal. This is my latest pickup. Came in yesterday.
I saw that on Calf. That's
Oh
cool.
my god, dude,
So
that's
That's
so good.
Miko, right?
yep.
You know, Miko, I feel like I've gotten used to his like layouts and whatnot, and then he kind of has a certain way of delivering art he kind of reuses over and over again. But this is very unique. This is a great.
Yeah, so Miko really, I mean, he was doing interiors in this era of Valiant. This is actually on the back of Marvel board. But yeah, so he was doing interiors and a lot of covers. This is really where he started hitting his stride, before he branched out.
And that's Harada and Peter, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's dissecting him atomically. So like when y'all get into the VEI Harbinger stuff, like the VH1 stuff, I mean, it's nothing as far as like their power levels is like insane. So it's pretty dope. But that fight between those two is still there, like it was in VH1.
Like in issue 25.
Yes,
Sick.
because
Yeah,
that scene replays itself. Noel, that you brought up, that scene replays itself in VEI, and I have that page where they square off.
Is it on Calf?
It is. It's,
okay, I'll have to go look.
It's a Clayton Henry, but I don't have the VH1. That's one issue I'd really like to get a page from.
That was a fun issue.
Yeah, and so yeah, I picked up these. Now these are probably the surprise pickups. These are Brett Booth, Bloodshot.
Oh, cool!
Pages.
Wow,
I didn't know he worked on Bloodshot. When was this?
More recent iterations, not this current run. It's the next to the last run. So,
Okay.
So I have a bunch of pages from him on this issue. But the reason why these are surprised is because they got lost. FedEx lost them from Heritage.
What?
So they lost them. They fell in a black hole. Heritage sent me a refund for it, and so this was months ago. And so I was expecting a Heritage package, and one came in the other day. I go to open it up, and these came out, and I go, "What is this?"
That's cool.
Well, I'm glad you got them.
Yeah, I say too, Brett Booth. He's such a workhorse. He's been in the industry for so long. I feel like he's like underrepresented and like undervalued.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like
He's
his
like,
backlash and all that other stuff he was doing in Image.
Yes, I feel like he's like Bart Sears, almost like comparable, like in that category. Like they're undervalued for what.
So I got a bunch of these pages from the Vosburg sale, Archer and Armstrong, and also from Eternal Warrior, and
totally missed that one.
And so yeah, I mean they were so cheap.
Yeah, I know. Steals. Look at they're all vintage pages too. It's great.
And what's fun about these Vosburg pages, I'm going to find one that has it on the back, is he draws on the back of them. So, and just like random sketches, and they have nothing to do. There's a big one that's he done on this one of these that he just randomly does on the back of these pages, but and so.
Oh, wow. Whoa, that's like a separate image. I thought you were talking about like Sean Chen style, where he does a prelim on one side. And
no, it's a totally separate image, and he's more known for his lady stuff. This is the prelim to the cover of Archer and Armstrong's 23.
That's a fun
and
prelim.
So yeah, I mean a bunch of fun stuff. It wasn't very expensive. And this is towards the end of the run when he was working on that. But they said on the show, they're like, yeah, we just figured we'd throw a whole bunch of them together to try to get rid of them. Like nobody's gonna want them, and like that's the main thing that was ever selling. Like everybody was like, claim.
No, all of them.
I was shocked how many people are like, boom, just on it.
Yeah. And so yeah, I got several non-Valiant pages like this one.
What is that? Where's that from?
This is a Scanny Sun. So this is Cable back in the future / past from a mini series back in the 90s, but it's a full page. I think this is page 1. Yeah, page 1 of issue 3.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, it's Gene Ha and Andrew Peepoy. I mean, just the amount of detail on that. And and I actually got a Ethan Van Sciver page, which I had won. And then he never shipped it to me. PayPal gave me my money again.
Okay.
And so then it landed in my mailbox.
Again, well, you had a bunch of surprises this year.
Right. And I contacted him. I said, dude, look, they gave me the money back because you never responded back, and it should. And so I gave him his money back. I sent him back to him. I guess I didn't have to. But.
That's nice of you. I mean, so Hoarder's Hide had a question for us. Why is it so hard for beginners to break into the Valiant art market?
Because we're scooping all those pages up. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe that's why, like that Comic Art Live was like an example where like anyone who was mildly interested was getting blown out of the water by everyone. So
it's a small but very fervent community of people who want that stuff bad.
Right. Well, the other thing is like I'm in sales. That's my day job. And so like if you approach sales where you're like, you want to buy this, whatever, it's a page.
Right.
Like you approach it that way, like you're not going to sell as much. And that's how I feel like most of these people approach selling Valiant. It's like, okay, it's there. You want to go get it, whereas like you'll hear them talk up the Marvel art. It's like, man, no, this is from this page and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like in a way we're selling Valiant art here because we want more folks. And I mean, it's not because we want like more folks to be on the market. I think it's great, but we actually love the stories. And that's why the whole TLDR is like, hey, if you didn't read it, read with us, right?
Right.
And so I think we truly enjoy the stories. And I think what's been like a very positive kind of reaction to it is Stingray actually then going in and wanting to buy a piece of Shadowman art, which we're all happy to kind of back off and let him have. And so, I think it's a great thing about the community. So.
Yeah, Carl's like sending me the link to Heritage for that one. Like, go get this. Do it. This is yours. Like, go get it.
Yes, sir. We make it easy for you too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to win one on eBay right now. I've got 51 minutes left on it. We'll see if I maintain it.
Let's stay on and watch him win it live.
Or lose it.
You never know. We did that. Did we do that at Baltimore?
Yeah. I was trying to win that Gary Frank, and we were watching it on my phone, and then it hit it up right there at the last minute.
There's two Valiant pages on Heritage this week. There's an Eternal Warrior and a Ninjak.
Oh,
never mind.
Sorry. I think maybe Jason was trying.
I'm already bidding on them. Well, and the problem is with that, back to what we were talking about earlier, those two particular pages, I already have good representation of, like, if I'm building a storyline for Eternal Warrior or Ninjak, I have a good representation that I don't need those pages.
Okay.
But they're there, and then I'm like, they feel cheap. And so I just feel almost obligated to bid on them, but really I should. It's like even this page it's not really a big page. It's from Eternal Warrior 15. It's got Bloodshot on it and on eBay right now. And I have the page after it.
Okay.
So
that sounds like a good reason. Yeah. So, there's two train of thought. I already have an example from that issue. Do I need it? But then the other completionist side is, oh man, I already have the page before. I should have it next to it. They look so cool.
Right.
And I am a completionist when it comes to comic collecting, so that might be coming out in me on the art side. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's some issues of EXO, and I have a couple other issues from other characters that I've got a bunch of representation from that I've thought about completing it, which is kind of another niche altogether. Which Carl, you've got several complete issues, so you know how that goes. But you bought them that way, though, right?
Bought them that way. I'm very it's really hard to kind of build
piece together.
I
bought my one complete issue that way.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got the Thunderbolts one.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you have to kind of. It's really hard because I tried, and I know a few friends that tried, and it's almost impossible. Because what happens, unfortunately, human nature is, you have like literally one or two friends that'll be like, dude, I got you. Here's kind of what it is. But the human kind of behavior typically is, oh, you want to put this issue together, huh? Oh, I love this page. I love this page. So it's gonna have to be like, it's got to be a price that makes sense for me to, let go of my blood and tears, and so it makes it really hard to put together. So I kind of gave up on that. So I was working on Daniel Warren Johnson's Do a Powerbomb #2 because it was offered to me, and then I passed on it, and I regretted it, and so on. And so on.
But I mean, his art is so popular too, right? I can't imagine
Yeah.
people wanting to let go of pages that they have.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm actually at OAX going to bring some pages from issue 2 to offer it on the table, because I just feel like I'm never going to put that issue together, and I already have a full issue from him anyways, and so it's fine. But I think I'm going to keep the couple pages in issue 2 that really spoke to me, and then basically alleviate the rest.
Well, so Derek is asking a question about the production aspects of Valiant create hurdles for new collectors. Balloons with no words, often missing balloons. It might. The other part about it is, and we talked about this earlier, people like Don Perlin or even Vosberg, is that really what people flash to? I mean, that's how Image sold itself, was having the flashiest of artists.
Sure.
And a lot of times people are looking at art for just that art, not the story behind the art. So I think that if somebody is a reader and they read the Valiant, that will lend them to overlook some of the non-flashiness to the storybook moment. But yeah, the glue stains, I think you can get those off, but unless the page is like worth a lot, I mean, it's really not worth it. Paying.
I like the glue stains. I think at the end of the day, we're collecting like production art.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a personal choice. Some people are like, yeah, that's ugly. Some people think it's really cool.
Yeah. And some of it's weird because during the same timeline, you might have one where the bubbles were drawn on the art. You have one that's glued on the art. Of course, Barry Windsor Smith, he redid those, so that's why his looks so nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you have none of them on the art. I like the word bubbles. I like the story being on the art. Unfortunately, that's not part of the process anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think it's has to do with the story more than anything. John's Comics with Kids joining us. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to smash that like button if you haven't already done so. Mike with Six Layer Stations asking, is there any character art that you guys are targeting this year?
All the Stingray art that I can find.
Are you the high bidder on that one that I showed you with everybody in the?
I haven't bid on it yet. I'm keeping my eye on it, seeing where it goes.
Because you got a week or so?
I think so, yeah. It's like around the 10th or the 12th it ends, I think. I don't remember what it's at right now, but yeah, I'm definitely it's being followed.
Yeah.
Mine's easy. Azrael is a character that really has always been like true to my heart kind of thing. So I think I kind of evolved to more like published pieces, but I still get a lot of commissions from him. I am starting a new sketchbook because I finished my Joker sketchbook in New York Comic Con, and so
that's impressive.
I'll share the sketchbook once I want one artist to start it. Until I get that artist to start it, I'm not going to start the sketchbook. So in a way, is it
going to be another Joker sketchbook?
No, it'll be a Joker. I'll show you guys when it comes up.
Got it.
But in the meantime, I think Azrael artists do a thing when it comes to characters. And then I recently quit a character. I used to collect a character, Darkness. And so I've been kind of giving those to Royce now because he's just such a big Darkness guy. It's almost like if I had like 5 pieces of Stingray art and then we met, I would be like, all right, you know what, Noel, I'm going to have to quit Stingray. So I'm just going to focus character-wise on Azrael. And then, the prompt typically is Azrael versus Batman. And that's my commission prompt because it's more interesting. And then if they did a good job there, I'll typically ask them for one more Azrael alone. And then my third prompt is Wolverine versus Omega Red because that story just always.
Oh yeah. So. Omega Red's a cool character visually, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and then I do have one more because of Jason as influence. I did buy that book of Geomancers, and I think that one is going to be a Master Dark book.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. Yeah. So, are you going to get Sean to start that because of your relationship with Sean? Or
no, I think Bob Hall should start it, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
He created it, right?
I would assume that he would be one of the co-creators on.
Yeah. How about you, Jason? Any characters?
Yeah. So, if outside of Valiant, Hulk, Batman, generally leaning towards more of the Bat family. But yeah, so I dipped my toe into X-Men art, but one of the things that scared me about X-Men art is because it's so expensive, and there's so many people going after it, which leads to it being expensive. And so it's like, it's going to be very key pieces if I get something with that.
That's kind of how I feel about like Spider-Man art. I'd love to collect Spider-Man, but there's so many people and it's so expensive, and yeah.
Well, and Hoarders had mentioned Spectre and Jonah Hex, which he's trying to, focus himself on. But yeah, I mean, those are niche characters too.
Yeah,
they've been around a long time though.
Well, it's funny because I feel like I hear not a lot per se, but a few people that really are into Jonah Hex for like the art and the stories. Not so much with the Spectre though.
You mentioned X-Men, so
yeah.
Go for it. Sorry.
Well, and Hoarder's Hat also says if Valiant didn't have great stories in the beginning, nobody would collect it because the majority of the art was average at best, and that's not untrue. That's like what we were talking about earlier. And VEI changed that because you had artists like Clayton Henry, you had artists like Miko Suayan.
Was VEI when Paulo Rivera came in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had so many good artists, and just like. Well, and they tried to toward like from the Leighton takeover era, when Bart Sears came in, they started getting better artists.
Yeah.
The problem is that the stories started to suffer as a result.
Yeah.
So then when your stories are suffering and that's what you're known for, unless you're now in a crowded field. If any of you have ever read Blue Ocean Strategy, which I won't bore people on here about, you're now in a crowded field, a shark-filled water where, the margins are thin. And so it's like, stick with what you know, play in that ocean because nobody was doing that. I don't think Malibu or any of these other companies were playing in that ocean that Valiant was playing in, which was the story.
Well, but so I agree with your point, but at the same time, I was just reading Harbinger, and when I got into that first issue and I saw that it was David Latham on art, I was like, oh, cool, because he had done the early issues of Shadow Man. And so I was kind of excited about that. And he stayed on it for like half of that first 25 issues, I think. And then he was even writing it at one point. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And he went over to Defiant with Shooter and did all the Warriors of Plasm and all that kind of stuff.
But I don't know what it is, but okay.
Okay, sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, that's another rabbit hole to dive into.
So that's Bad Idea and Defiant or Broadway, as far as the comic book genre, those are kind of I label them as Valiant cousins.
Okay.
So
there's a study into that, all these Valiant cousins, right? Because I do feel like it's really interesting how Valiant had bred this kind of group of publishers that came out after them, and they kept going in a cool way.
Well, and Derek says he would argue that Ultraverse did get hot writers, and they might have. I was, aside from Rune, which was the Barry Windsor Smith title, I didn't really read. I mean, Ultraverse at that time, you think of the 90s, you're at the top of the game, right? As far as like so much stuff out there. Like for me, at least, like the fact that I even ventured into Valiant was amazing at best. And it was probably just, again, because I was a big reader that I even bothered. But it's like just so much stuff out there that I didn't have any kind of bandwidth to do anything else different. But so maybe they did. So I'll admit that I'm not as well versed in Ultraverse and Malibu.
Well, and it's funny too. You think about things like, look at like CrossGen. Like when they came out, they had all the heavy hitters, writers and artists, but apparently they had financial issues or whatever. And after a couple of years, they just disappeared. But like I enjoyed several of the CrossGen books when they were coming out. I thought that they were pretty great.
Yeah, apparently they were like a .com kind of.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a victim of the times. I mean, they brought all the artists and everybody in to work in the bullpen, kind of like in the old days. And so that's why everybody moved down to, I think, Florida is where they were out of. Yep. And so, of course, Marvel or Disney owns them now. So,
yeah. Cool. So, shall we continue with show and tell?
Who's next?
I'll jump in because this one's kind of cool because I feel like Jason, you would definitely know what this is because it's a little bit before my time in coming back this piece happened during the time I was away from Valiant. So
Okay.
I just got it in. I got it in, but I just found it again because I did a major cleanup of my room. I know like it looks kind of clean up here, but the everything below is horrible. But I got a lot. The mess is more just here now, and then I dug up a few things that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share today, and this is one of them. Can you guess what this is?
It's a package.
Okay, package. I'm gonna do a live unboxing. Okay, and I feel like it's kind of fun.
I'm just glad you got pants on today, Carl.
For once. All right.
Oh, I know what this is. It's the penguin.
All right, talk about it.
Yeah, this is like one of the Valiant fans project with the penguin. Sean Chen did it. Which one did you get?
Looks like this is the
Armstrong
one. I felt like yeah.
So where'd you find it at on eBay?
eBay.
Oh wow.
It was on eBay. Sean had always talked about it, and he told me about it. And so I don't want to break the box.
There's a whole set of these, and not too long ago on valiantfans.com, there was a person selling the whole set.
Oh wow.
There's a rye one. There's there's all of them.
A penguin
Shadow Man.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is all about. Oh, it's wrapped in used toilet paper as well.
But they don't do anything anymore, but back in the day, Valiant Fans was pretty active as far as like all the little fan projects they would do. They would raise money for various causes too.
That's cool.
This is the Armstrong.
That is so cool.
Number 19.
I love the bottle.
Yeah. It's got to be accurate, right?
Yeah, dude, this is freaking hilarious. I'm so glad I found this because literally it was wrapped in a little thing, and I was always looking for it. And when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shoot, it's here!" It was just buried in a bunch of boxes.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome. Yeah, they got Magnus one, Solar, yeah, they're all of them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have Mr. Sean Chen come on and talk about this project because I think it was a very meaningful moment for him in his career because he had taken some time off, doing comics at the time, and he basically found this project with the fans of Valiant and got a ton of support for it. And each of these were like hand-casted, handmade. So it was cool hearing about it, but I never understood what the heck it was until he sent it to me, and I start meeting other folks. I think other people that I met in the Valiant world also had these. And so, yeah, happy to share that.
That's awesome.
So Newell, or anybody else in the chat for that matter, if you go to valiantfans.com and put in penguins up at the search bar, you'll see pictures of people where they posted all the various penguin pictures.
Okay.
So second thing I wanted to share is there's a Amazon site that lets you order mouse pads. And so this was the first mouse pad I created.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's Eternal Warrior number 7. And it's so freaking cool because I'll never try this art from Dinesh, but I can enjoy it every day.
So talk about that art. Interesting story. Of course, Dinesh, of course, owns that. But the prelim came up for sale on Heritage not that long ago.
Oh,
and I
remember.
They listed it as the art. And I contacted Heritage. I said, that is not the art. Here's who owns the art. That's a prelim. And they took it down and relisted as a prelim. Oh, wow. Ironically enough, they actually ended up selling for more than what the art was fixing to sell for.
Yes.
I guess because it brought attention to it or something. I don't know.
Crazy. Yeah. At least you got him to change it. That's good.
And I actually made one up Eternal War as well, issue 6, but I couldn't find it today. So as much as I cleaned up my room, I think I made a bit of a mess. You guys want to see some art?
Yeah.
Yes, there's 2 pieces that I got that one I got earlier in the year, one I got later in the year, but I want to have them both before I showed it. So this is basically
Uh,
Splash from Deathmate.
uh,
The Splash opening page.
mhm.
Oh, that's the title page. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the title page, and it's basically Barry Windsor Smith, inked by Jim Lee.
Like
What?
that's never. When's that ever happened, right?
Right.
Yeah, in fact, it's the only time it's happened. So J. Scott Campbell had a page, and I had reached out to him to try to buy it early on in my collecting career. And he wrote me this long thing about how special it was to him because that was the only time he would see, Jim on Barry Windsor Smith. And so when I saw this, it really fell in love with it initially. But it wasn't the first page that I bought. The first page that I bought was this. Was earlier in the year last year, and
Is that Solar?
Is Solar and what's her name?
Void. But so Solar's when he lets Gale die. I mean, this is a 30-plus-year-old story, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything. But when he lets Gale die, his personality splits, which has been known to do multiple times during Solar. Solar the Destroyer is one of his other personalities.
Okay.
And so that scene is actually played out in Rise Zero, which was kind of putting the timeline out there for the Valiant universe when it came out. It's also the first appearance of Bloodshot. But when Deathmate came out, which was a combination of Valiant and Image, they actually replayed that scene. But the change was that his personality meets Void. And when they kiss, that's how the universes merge together. So, so wow. Yeah, there's a page from this issue that's available. It's like $8,000 something.
Yeah.
I've been so tempted to pick it up.
There's only 10 of these pages if you think about it. So I think for me, I was lucky enough to get this one at first off this is also from the Cool Lines art, both of them.
Oh, wow.
And the first one, I got a really good deal because I went to the LA Art Show. Highly recommend that when you guys get a chance. And for some reason, that was the slowest day ever. Like, ever. Like, there was like 5 people that showed up that day. And I was one of the last customers. And I remember I had brought cash, and I was like, man, like, maybe there's a time to go for it. And I hard went for it. And Rich, who's Steve's brother, got on a call with Steve, and it was just a hardcore negotiating process, and I basically got a fair price on this. On this one was what I mentioned earlier in regards to strategically positioning getting this, and I was able to get this. But why this is special to me is because I don't have any Jim Lee art, and I think for me
either.
Yeah, it's not quite affordable. So this is a very affordable way to get Jim Lee. Right. So
I mean, it's a twofer for sure. I mean,
that's awesome.
And Scott from Hoarder's Hide, he mentions this, but he does have one of the pages from that issue too. I've told him that and the Bart Sears page that once he decides to clean out his collection to keep me in mind. But I can't remember. It's a website, and somebody told me this guy's like a member of a band or something. Does this sound familiar to you?
Yes, that's the website. Is it Black Sabbath?
Yeah, I think it's some band. I mean, I recognize the name of the band, but he has art, and that's where that page that I've been tempted to buy because it's the scene where he lets Gale die, and
the page
she falls to the ground.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think for me, for collectors like us, to me, this is similar to like when Travis Touré worked on the X-Men Wildcats, and there's only X number of pages for that. I feel like this is kind of like that historic moment. That was, kind of cool. Sean Chen, I'll let him tell the story, but I'll preview it, is he was in Barry Windsor Smith's house when these pages came back to him.
Oh, wow.
So he said him and a few other artists were there when Barry was unpacking these. But what Sean said was Barry was really disappointed because he thought Jim was going to Jim Lee-rise everything. But instead, what Sean heard was Jim was so respectful of Barry Windsor that he didn't want to, mess with his art. So he just kept the line very clean and very true to Barry.
Yeah, you can really see it. Like, Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And then the other thing that I just got back is fresh inherited was we mentioned X-Men pages. This is my first X-Men page.
Oh wow, what is that from?
It's from X-Men issue. What issue is this? 186.
Okay.
So it's a really big story, but not a lot of X-Men on. But it came in for a really good price, I thought. Page 28, okay. And it shows a lot of what Barry can do, and it's very obvious. Is Barry doing his car thing, and I just love it. I think it's a great moment, and then you also see Kitty Pryde's arm kind of show through there at the end.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
And then this one was Stephen Platt, his card art. So
nice.
It's basically 9 cards on one board, and it's basically Stephen Platt, my first Stephen Platt, and probably only Stephen Platt example of Youngblood.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
So those are my kind of
Very nice.
Yeah.
Talking about that X-Men, when me and Carl were exchanging text.
Yes.
And I was going after the Machine Man pages, and then I was so tempted to go after that X-Men page. And then right after it ended, I was like, man, I should have went. He's like, I'm glad you didn't, because I just got it.
Nice.
Yeah. As much as we communicate, sometimes we still lose track of stuff. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to get that in. Both of those pages, I actually bid on a plane ride up, and actually I bid on them assuming that the Machine Man cover that was up from Kirby was going to be out of range. Mm-hmm. But sad, and kind of a sad story is collectively what I got for these, I could have gotten that Machine Man page. So for some reason, people weren't looking at it that day.
Well, there was a lot of stuff in that auction.
There was way too much stuff in the auction, and so I definitely I wouldn't say half regret, but it was one of those Kirby Machine Man pages that's on my list. That I wasn't going to get. So as much as we make a list, it's still very easy to miss on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Porter's hat says Danzig, so I guess that's the band name they use. Yeah.
It's Danzig. Yeah. It's like black lines art or something like that.
Yes, it's something. So normally, like if I'm looking for art, there's Comic Art Tracker.
Yes.
Like, and I could just type in a name of a character, and it pulls up all these various different websites. And so that's how I found it, I think.
Do you guys subscribe to that, or do you just do it for free? Yeah, I always ask, and no one is subscribed to it. So I wonder, but everyone uses it. So
well, I mean, when you're putting your best stuff outside the paywall, what are people going to do? They're not going to pay for it.
True. Right. True. Yeah. They could probably use some consulting. So, Noel,
So I don't have any new art to show. I actually have some old stuff to show you. I'll go ahead and do that. So on Christmas Day, I was at my parents' house, doing family stuff. But I went up into my old room and I was digging around, and I uncovered a bunch of my 90s trading card stuff. And so like this box here, it's an old Hoyle playing card. It was a box of decks of cards. These are all chase cards that I found from 90s card sets.
Nice. And
I found some really cool stuff. So I found this card here. This is a Venom card from the QFX set, which came out in 1997. This set was done entirely by Joe Quesada. What he did is he went around and took photos in New York City, and then he drew Marvel characters into the art. So this is actually the background of the bridge or whatever is a photo, a real bridge in New York, and then he drew a Venom and put it over it. And then this particular card, what's interesting is they didn't list it. It wasn't an official chase card set for this set, but they should. Oh, okay. But what they did was he had a few cards, and I don't know how well you can see it, but right here is a Joe Quesada signature.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's the big Q that he does with the lines through it. So I bought a single box of this set back when it came out, and I found this card. I didn't know what it was. And, I found out about it years later, but this card, when I came home that night, I took a few pictures of the stuff that I had and put it in the Marvel trading card group on Facebook. And people told me that this was incredibly popular. Holy crap, that's awesome. And I had a guy make me an offer for it right away for a pretty good amount of money, over $150. I'll just say that.
What?
Yeah, so I sold this immediately, and I'm going to be handing this off at OAX. The other ones that I found that are really cool, which are original art, these are original art sketch cards. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. That's a Beta Ray Bill.
Might have to move it a little closer to the camera.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to focus or not, though. Yeah. But you can kind of see his face in there. Yeah. I've got a Bruce Banner. This isn't working too well. And this one is the coolest one, I think. It's a Spider-Man by Rick Leonardi.
Nice. Are you bringing those to OAX as well?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But these came from, there's a set that came out in 2001 called Marvel Legends. And they had these various tiers of the sketch cards. They called them custom covers because you had like the titles, so it looked like the cover of a comic. And they had the different ones. And that set, they one of the tiers, I think it was like the tier 2, so like the second highest tier, you could get an original Spider-Man sketch by John Romita Sr.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is pretty cool. But apparently the most rare and hard to find one was Punisher by Steve Dillon.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And yeah, so I just like these have been sitting in like they were in a like a nightstand in my parents' house for the last like 16 years. And
that's the
before
best.
that,
These discoveries. The hardest hideout, was it a redemption card?
No. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but none of these were redemptions. I don't think they did that back then.
Yeah.
All of this stuff I just showed off was pack pulled.
Nice. That's the best. You kind of the nostalgia behind the pack cracking.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, guys, Newell is now one of our co-hosts, and he's gonna be bringing a new perspective. Newell, you want to share kind of what you're reading and then what to expect? And this TLDR. So if you guys don't feel like it's too long, want to read along and join the discussion for future shows, please do. But Newell, why don't you share a little bit about what you're reading so far and how you feeling?
Yeah, so I just was reading Harbinger. I got up to issue, Jason told me I probably didn't need to go past 25, but at the end of 25, I was like, well, what's going to happen now? So I did read 26.
Nice.
And it was cool. You know who drew number 26 and became the regular artist on the series at that point? Sean Chen.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. That's on my list too. I want one of his Harbinger covers.
Yeah, the covers are cool. So do you guys want me to just give a brief rundown what I thought of Harbinger, I guess?
No, we'll save it for the next episode.
Yeah, save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. Should I read anything else in the meantime then? What should I jump to next?
What about Rye? And go into Rye in the Future Force.
Okay. So. Let's do Rye. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do Harbinger, go through that, Rye and Future Force, and then we'll have Sean on.
Yeah. There you go.
So, all right. Yeah. So I think we're about time to wrap up. So Happy New Year, everybody. Jason, it's good to see you. Newell, it's good to see you.
Yeah, man.
So excited about OAX. Maybe we'll try to get one more episode in before then. Everyone else in the chat, thank you. Please comment, subscribe below. Jason, Newell, any last words?
So just looking forward not only to getting together in OAX, the art pickups for 2025, but having some more guests on here to talk about their Valiant story. So got a lot of things in the works. So hopefully you'll stay tuned, be subscribed to 24/7 Comics as well as Southern Comic Geek, and you can watch the show on either platform.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
See you.
Have a good one.